We're live. Again.
Hey,
Because we didn't have chairs just a second ago.
oh, that's cool.
May I offer you a drink, good sir?
Absolutely, that's.
So I mentioned you earlier, but I guess I'll say it for the sake of the podcast. Is this a podcast? I don't know, but we're drinking Casamigos here.
Holy moly.
Which I have only had one drink out of it.
Okay.
But it's a lot better than what I had before.
Which
was the... I had some Cabo Wabo before. So I'm trying to get into tequila now.
Okay.
Let's just start with this one. Cheers.
Holy moly, that's really clean.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. It tastes really good after we just had that meal, you know?
Yeah, it's
Man.
really crazy. It
has a very peppery taste.
Yeah, where do you cop this bottle?
I just got it at Meyer.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty expensive though. Yeah. So anyways, let me just start by saying this. Thank you for being my first guest ever on this.
Oh, I'm the first guest.
Yeah, first ever.
That's,
and
oh,
so
man.
I'm actually a guest on my own. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm just... I think that I meet a lot of really interesting people.
Yeah.
You're one of those people.
Oh,
but we have really good conversations. Why not record them so I can reference back and just listen to the funny, the intellectual, the weird shit that we talk about, whatever. But just so that I can have something to look back on.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's really it. So thank you for being for the first guest. I'm gonna put these to the side.
Yeah.
So then,
You're so right. The shot glasses are more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tequila, you can't just sip this shit.
Cool. Yeah. Anyways, so. How was your week? Anything?
My week's been good. I recently got back from a Nebraska trip. That was last week Friday.
Okay.
And so I remember. This is actually something I wanted to tell you though. I remember beforehand I was fighting a lot with my significant other, and I was telling you guys, and I remember the conversation at Henry's house that we had. It's oh my, you're really so smiley. Oh my god. I'm sorry, it's like I look over and you're like
yeah, no.
Then I had a SpongeBob SquarePants kind of smile.
No, I'm just trying to breathe this tequila out of my throat. Doing it as naturally as I know.
Yeah. But I remember the conversation we had on the stairway, and it was, Ben, whatever you do, just put your whole mind into it. Whether it's stay with her or break up with her, do it all with your heart. And I took that to heart, actually. I don't know, I thought about it while I was working and while I was sleeping. Because, naturally, when you're fighting your significant other, it's, at least for me, it's a big deal. I take it very seriously.
Mm.
And, a couple days afterward, I remember our conversation again, and I thought, he's right. This made me realize that whole time I was in a relationship with her, I was half-assing it, without even realizing it. And I thought, Tommy's right. If I'm going to be in this relationship, it's either 100% or don't be in it. So I visited her, and I apologized for the way I acted.
Did you tell her that you've been feeling that way at all? Or did you just...
I told her that... Because she was very well aware that I had a thought of breaking up.
Mm.
And I talked to her about it, and I apologized to her naturally, because, that's what a gentleman should do. And I said, from this point on, I'm going to give you my 100% for this relationship. And it's improved the relationship by a lot, yeah. So I want to thank you for that.
Dude, literally, I think I was talking out of my ass. So I'm glad just the shit that I say somehow made an impact with you. Yeah, but I'm glad you just picked a direction. It felt that you were conflicted between these two roads. You didn't know which one to go down to. Of course, everyone has their own consequences.
Right.
Everyone has their own benefits, but you just pick one and go with it.
Right, and I enjoy the way you gave me that choice, because at least from what I remember, everyone else had that same connotation, like, yeah, Ben, you should just break up with her, And I think people do that a lot. They kind of put their own opinion on the situation. and it's very prevalent. I mean, I go to the hospital and I listen to the nurse techs talk to each other, and it's a lot of not listening, really. Yeah, outside of the usual, I guess, day-to-day jargon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry. You're just so smiley with me.
Am I not usually this smiley?
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm just so excited to be on this podcast right now.
But
you don't seem artificial at all.
No,
This feels like a genuine conversation.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I almost forgot the camera was there. Yeah.
I didn't. I completely set out the corner of my fucking eye right now. But, yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's really the highlight of my week.
Okay.
Work's shitty, but once I get there, it's like I suck it up.
You texted me while you were in Nebraska. I didn't know you were in Nebraska, but you were at a comedy club, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was not as enjoyable as I thought it would be. I remember when you first took us to Woody's, and it was just really enjoyable.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you go tomorrow?
I mean, I gotta work tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, I will go. I promise you, I'm not trying to flake.
No, it's all good. I've been gone for about 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay. But, no, I didn't enjoy it as much because it was a lot of older comedians, and their jokes were centered around the older audience members, so 30 plus.
Did their jokes feel dated at all, or was it just towards a larger crowd?
It didn't feel dated at all. It was very much just a target audience that they're focusing on.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's how comedians should do it. They find an audience, they cater to the audience, and I didn't realize there's that part of comedy until I was there, and I mean, it was still an enjoyable show. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it was like, wow, yeah. If I was older and I had these more experiences, then I would find it even more funnier.
Okay. Yeah, I found that from the few times we've gone to Woody's is the ones that I tend to laugh and start dying from is the younger comedians. Because they make jokes that make sense to me.
Right.
But then I look over and the old dude in the room isn't laughing. But then you get that old dad that's up there about 45, 50 years old and he's telling jokes, and those guys are laughing and I'm not really clicking with it. So, yeah, it's really with the crowd that you're targeting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It shows you more the division between generations. I mean, between 30 and 20, that's only a decade, but so much has happened in that decade.
Sure. So maybe even comedians grow with their crowd.
Yeah.
So they kind of die with them in a sense. Mm-hmm. So, interesting. So they kind of mark that moment in history. In a sense, is you have presidents and politicians that stand before us and make policies, but then you have the comedians that talk about the things that people aren't willing to talk about.
Right.
It's kind of cool, but they talk about that time. So that's what I appreciate comedians.
I think just the arts in general. It's like how you're talking about in Canada, like that guy got fined a crazy amount of money.
Oh yeah,
remember? Yeah.
I forgot the joke you mentioned, but okay, this is. I hate that we're recorded because then if I end up posting this may end up just being
like a black book.
No. It may just end up being that whoever I'm referencing, I might butcher the story. But we'll just kind of summarize it as some guy in Canada, from what I heard. This could have been an unreliable news source.
Yeah.
He is a comedian, and he made a joke regarding some Canadian child.
Okay.
That died.
Or
something.
Yeah.
But this child, I think, had been struggling with many different health problems for a long time. And his long battle, right? And he made just, not even really a joke. I think he just mentioned him or something.
Yeah.
And then he got fined by the Canadian government for that. And you and I were just, it's just awesome that we live in America. We can say whatever the fuck we want.
Right. Not to worry about that.
I guess you can't really say, in the society that we live in nowadays, it tends to be a call-out culture where you have to be careful what you say. But at the end of the day, though, we have the freedom of speech.
Right.
We're still able to say what we want without being fined, without being lynched. Or like that. Yeah, we may have these social punishments to us that you're a bigot or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Honestly, it's...
Well, I say we have a drink to that.
I was just going to suggest that.
Freedom of speech, my friend.
Freedom of speech.
Sorry, I just got a little drop on your finger there.
Oh, no, I didn't even notice. Between a good old American breakfast, American freedom speech.
Yes, this is actually the Hispanic
Cheers.
breakfast. No, cheers.
Oh my god.
Would you say the first shot or second shot was better?
That first shot was better. I
First
think
one
it's
was
just,
good, yeah.
Yeah, I think just because I didn't know what I was getting myself into with tequila.
You know, a lot of times the first shot you take is just.
Really?
But this first shot was really good. And
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel like I have to brace myself on it.
Not at all. It's I when I started drinking the heavier liquors, I started out with cognac and like tequila,
Okay.
and I mean I've always like drank it clean, you know, never chased or anything.
Sure.
So I think from that experience, I've just preferred like these heavier kind of drinks.
Yeah.
But you know, Andy doesn't like these kinds of drinks at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas me, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So as you got here, I was really interested in why my dog tried to attack you, which
Yeah,
is
I
kinda
was.
weird. So as you came in the house, Leo, my dog, is typically super friendly,
Right. Yeah.
very playful, aggressive because he's a
Right.
big ass dog.
Naturally, yeah.
But he's very playful. But
Yeah.
I just saw you. Well, I came in the door first, so I opened the
Right.
door, and then he runs to me, and then he stops, and then he just looks at you, and just kind of sits back as if he's gonna pounce. Just kind of looks at you, and then you reach out to just kind of, I don't know, whatever the fuck you're doing, and he just goes, and he just snaps his head.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting, and then he barked, and I thought, wait a minute, this is weird. So I know you were a little bit off-put by that,
Yeah.
but for me, this is my first time really having a dog, so I didn't know what to do in that moment. I said, wait a minute, did he bite you? Is there some type of liability thing that I'm accounted for or something? I was
my
like,
God.
dang, this is weird, you know? What am I supposed to do in this case? Like, I don't know how to tell Leo to stop. You're a nice guy. But he doesn't know that, you know? That was weird. That was really weird.
Honestly, I've only had like 5 hours of sleep because I worked last night,
Right.
and I guess I'm a little bit too tired to be scared.
Okay.
I remember coming in and I saw Leo, and I remember him from the Christmas party. I remember from all your photos.
Right.
I remember like playing with him when I was a puppy too. So I was like, oh, it's Leo, hey. And he did all that. I was like, wait a second, something's different here. Something's not right here.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you say that you only got 5 hours of sleep. What do you do? Because I don't know exactly what your work is and what your work experience is.
Yeah. We were talking about this a little bit in Nebraska too.
Yeah.
As a nurse tech, well, there's 2 parts to it. One, I could be, it's called a sitter case, where I'm with a patient who is not mentally all there, or who's suicidal, or could pose a harm to either staff or themselves. And so they put a sitter there, a staff member there, to kind of watch over them throughout the night.
Make sure they don't kill themselves.
That, or like they just don't fuck up, you know? Because sometimes these people think, "Oh, I'm at home," and they try to stand up, but like they've just gone through surgery, or they have just like I don't know, they can't walk very well by themselves, so they fall down, and then like to prevent that, the hospital puts someone there. And there's that part of my job. The other part of the job is when I'm on the floor helping the nurses. And that part's basically it's almost like a glorified waitering job, but with getting vitals, blood sugars, helping clean the patients, turn them and stuff. And
what do you mean by cleaning the patients?
You know what I mean, wiping ass, and like, if they pee themselves on the bed, if they accidentally pull out the IV, there's blood everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, unless it's like a huge ass mess. I remember this one time I was in a sitter case, right? And this guy, he had, what's it called? What's the tubing in your stuff that helps digestion?
The IV?
Not the IV. It's the he had intestinal bleeding, GI bleed. There you go, gastrointestinal bleed. And he was just laying in bed. I was watching him. All of a sudden, he like sits up, gets out of bed, and starts running to the bathroom. And I'm like, wait a second, my guy. This is happening in a span of 5 seconds. So I like, Because like this guy is marked as like a fall risk, and so I'm like, holy shit, if he falls, it's my ass. So I'm like, I get up there.
A fall risk.
Yeah, a fall risk.
As in it's some type of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get up there, I get into the toilet, right? All he needs to go is poop, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. He gets up, all of a sudden there's blood just gushing out of his asshole. And I'm like, holy shit! And like he was like, okay, I'm done. And then he starts walking back to his bed while blood's gushing out. So there's literally like a trail of blood from the bathroom to the bed. And like halfway in between, he's like, oh, I feel a little dizzy. I'm like, oh my god! So I went up to him, I grabbed his whole body in my arms, and I'm holding on to dear life. And I'm like, help! Help! And the nurse comes in, only one nurse comes in, and I can only imagine how she felt, because she comes into this room, she sees a naked ass guy with blood coming out of his butt, and this tiny Asian kid, like, just holding on to dear life on this guy, just shouting for help. And yeah, it was, you get those experiences too,
So how much of those experiences can you actually talk about publicly? Is there any type of...
It's honest. I could talk about all of them publicly.
Oh, okay.
It's basically patient information, so their name, basically just their name.
Oh, so you really just can't tell who it was.
Right.
You can talk about the stories and all that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right.
So then, what's another funny case that happened recently?
Oh man, recently. I mean, recently. I can't think of a recent one. I mean, there's just so much, and the nights start blurring together.
Yeah. There's
one I remember vividly. It's among my first months working there, and an elderly lady comes in, right? And she has a little bit of dementia, and what happens is with sometimes with patients, they can't go to the bathroom per se, and so the urine starts building up in the bladder. And the bladder can only stretch so much for it pops, and that leads to a whole slew of problems. And so what we do is we stick a tube through the urethra, and this is the moments when I realized how complicated the female vagina is. Cause like for guys we have a penis, right? And we can pee through that hole, we come through that hole. It's all in one hole, it's like all in one. For a girl, she pees through a separate hole, she pees through a separate hole, and then there's her asshole, and it's like, and like,
and there's all this meat that covers it.
Right. It's and as a woman grows older, that meat just gets more like gnarled, and it's just super nasty. I remember one time I came into this room, this lady was just butt naked, and you could smell, because I think she had a yeast infection at one point, so you could smell it in the air. I was like, oh my god.
I've never smelled a yeast infection.
It's terrible, my god. It's like bread, but sour. And not the good sour bread.
So it doesn't smell like sourdough, but...
Oh yeah, it doesn't smell.
It doesn't smell like that?
Sometimes I think it's really fucked up things. Like I thought, what if I were to eat her out? What would that taste like? And I like almost threw up in my mouth. It's like when I was younger, I googled what a blue waffle was. Do you remember that? Like that was like knowing what that was like the rage back in middle school.
Yeah, man. I remember when you were a little kid, you used to just hear weird ass words like Urban Dictionary type of words.
Yeah.
People say. I mean, before I knew what a queef was. Some old kid told me when I was in elementary school, he said, hey, go up to that big kid and ask him what a queef is. Say, hey man, do you know what a queef is? And he just starts cracking up, he's like, oh my god, a queef! Oh! And then when I found out it's just a vagina fart, I thought, what the heck? Why are you guys so geeked about this, But,
it's so funny.
So is the term blue waffle, is that just a nickname for a yeast infection then? Or is that a total?
Yes. I think blue waffle is more like a fungal infection.
Okay. Or it could just be this comical name that like dudes just made up for pussies.
Yeah, I mean based on those pictures, I don't think it's comical. I don't think it's funny at all.
Yeah, definitely not.
Well, no, it's like sometimes the human vagina is just interesting how it regulates pH. That's why I'm sure you've ate a woman before. It tastes kind of mang. It tastes kind of
it has a
sour.
Dude, lately I don't know why, but my bathroom has had this smell, and I could not pick out what the smell was for the longest. And I just would wake up, brush my teeth, take a piss, and then finally I picked it up. I said, "This is the smell of a sweaty vagina. This is literally the smell of a sweaty pussy right now." And I remember eating out a girl. After we got done working out.
Right.
This is what it smells like. I cannot put my finger on it. I was like, why does my bathroom smell like this? So, yeah. I think my sister's on her period. So I just... whatever. That's... Whatever, right?
Oh, that's so funny.
But yeah, it has a very distinct smell.
Right.
I recognize the smell.
That and semen. Because, like, I don't know about you, after I'm done, like, doing myself, I like to smell it. That's really weird. It's not, like, something like to smell it. One time I've licked it. Like, just, not like a whole, like, a tongue tap, you know? Like, I don't know about you, but, like, I've you know, if a girl is gonna, you know, taste it, then I feel like I should taste it.
Sure, I guess.
It's like I've been because I think that's just fair, you know. Like if I'm gonna penetrate you, you should penetrate me. So I was talking with my significant other about anal, but I was like, but before we could do this, you need to penetrate me. Because I think to me that's just fair, you know. Because like I've researched anal sex, and the research shows, this is the 2016 study, that women still prefer vaginal sex, which makes total sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I researched that in the first place. I don't know. It's when you're in the heat of a moment, and not just for sex, for anything. Like everything sounds good. Everything sounds okay. Let's do it. Like interesting. I don't know. It's like. I'm a very impulsive guy when it comes to decision making.
No, I've been curious about anal sex too. I've never had it personally myself, but I've definitely been curious.
You know? Right. It's like my significant other's already done it, and I always like make fun of her for it too. But no, like just like impulsive decision making too for anything. Like I want one day I want to be to the point where I can like, okay, I'm gonna go to Canada without telling anybody. And then one of you guys call and say, hey Ben, where are you? I'm like, oh, I'm in Canada. And like, I don't know, in my head it plays out so like you guys are like, what? like I look at Peter Griffin, kind of like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in Canada. And like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing in Canada, but like, I'm just there. You know?
Okay. So we did actually recently take a trip to Canada, and that was pretty fun.
Yeah, holy moly.
Back to we can go back and talk about that if you'd like.
We can talk about anything.
The Toronto trip. So what was, for you, what did you enjoy about the Toronto trip?
Just hang out with the boys, really.
Would you like some more, by the way?
Oh, yes, please. Yeah. Oh. I mean, if you want me to compensate for this kilo, I'm more than happy to give some money.
Mi casa es su casa, amigos. I don't know what I just said in Spanish, but cheers, brother.
Cheers, my man. Oh, yeah. It's good stuff.
I like this. This is so far my favorite tequila.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
I've only had 1800 before this, but this is really good.
Yeah. 1800 has a very... I don't know how to... I guess the only word I can think of when I taste it, it's very airy.
Airy?
And I don't know what I mean by that, because I think I have a problem when it comes to taste, is that I think the English language doesn't do a proper job of describing taste.
I agree with you.
The same way that it has a poor job of describing feelings. Because we're always so stuck when we go to talk about feelings, taste, and these senses. So, yeah. you know, like...
Totally what you mean.
You find a word that kind of describes it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really highlight the way that you actually feel about it.
Right.
So, airy. 1800. Oh, whatever.
And that's beautifully put, actually. I think there's so much limitations with humans as far as how we can describe how we feel. Because if you think about the arts, science, it's all a way of describing our outlook in life. And it's yeah, we've come so far in being able to describe how we feel, you know, being able to create this, you know, giving directions, all that stuff. But like, there's like you said, there's a limitation to how much we can do that because each person always has a unique feeling to them, and I think that's where like a lot of miscommunication happens too, because not only with just words to describe our feelings, but we also put our emotions, our intonation, you know, the way we present ourselves to it too. And I don't think nowadays, I don't know about the past, but like nowadays people just don't know how to do that. We're not taught in school how to present ourselves, how to tell, you know, how we feel, especially for guys too, because we're given the short end of the stick as far as emotional support. Because we're still reeling from, you know, from the post-Vietnam, post-Korean War, where it's like, oh, you gotta man up. Or like, you know, there's a lot of just negative masculinity ideas that are imposed on guys and boys. And I feel because of that, we've been neutered emotionally as far as how we're able to describe how we feel, how we're able to handle stressful situations. Because, at least for me, I've found out that addressing my emotions is the best way to handle something first. You know, just being able to feel at first. But for guys, we're taught to kind of smother that and have this tough guy kind of facade face to it.
Do you think that's still present today?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
I think so, absolutely. I mean,
so how are you oppressed then to feel more to come up as a man or come up as this manlier?
It's, I mean, we be here like, oh man, gotta work out. Men gotta take a certain amount of pain with a straight face.
Okay.
This at least was what I'm hearing. I don't know about you.
Well, I'm just asking more as who imposes that on you?
Oh,
Or
who
makes you
imposes
feel that?
that?
Way? Or is it something that you take on yourself?
I think it's more of you take on yourself, but as you know, growing up, we look to our peers. I mean, it's improving in psychology through studies that between ages of middle school, throughout high school, even some parts through college, that's when we're most impressionable. That's when we get our most guidance through our peers. And it's really funny to think about it, because our peers are in that same stage, so they're trying to get their guidance through someone else, and someone else can get their guidance through someone else. And it's a continuing chain, really, and so we can't really point out that source. And it's interesting how, like, one person could say, yeah, like, I mean, it's your choice to act however you want, and that's a valid argument, really. But at the same time, like, considering that age where your choice is just influenced by everyone else's choice to so much of a degree that, like, I don't know, you could someone say like society has like forced this like this ideas into our head. But like the thing is, it's such a hard thing to fix because it's a generational thing. Because who taught those kids? Their parents. Who taught the parents? Their grandparents. Who taught the grandparents? Their great-grandparents. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think like politics and social change is so fucking difficult, because it has like years, like racism for example, it has decades, centuries even of that idea behind it, and it's not easy to slodge that thinking off.
Oh yeah.
And
I agree that nobody can just have a change of mind.
Right,
in a matter of one conversation.
Right.
But I just now know that nowadays the media is definitely pushing out, and modern society is trying to push out of this equality of races. So I was just wondering, you still feel this certain oppression to take up the duty of a man, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, same with me.
Yeah.
I feel. Yeah, I just feel that I have a role to play. I don't feel personally that I have to oppress women. That they have anything below me or anything.
Mm-mm.
I just think that I know what I want to do for myself.
Right.
And a lot of those things just harken back to the warrior days and just
Absolutely.
picking up your sword and going to fight.
Right,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
And then you got to suffer through life a little bit. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's been
I
interesting.
totally agree with you.
Okay, so what have you been
So-
doing recently in your life to pick up that warrior sense?